I don't get it. I make decent money. I'm careful with spending. I don't splurge on big things. But somehow it always feels tight. Not broke, not struggling, just tight in a way that doesn't make sense. I look at my income and think, this should be enough. On paper, it looks fine. In real life, it never quite adds up. And what makes it frustrating is that there's no obvious mistake, no massive debt, no financial disaster, no single bad decision I can point to. Bills are paid, cards are under control, nothing feels reckless. Yet every month ends the same way. I check my balance, I do the math again, and I wonder where it all went. Here's the part most people miss. That quiet confusion you feel is the signal. Not failure, not irresponsibility. It's the feeling that money is slipping through gaps you can't see, that your effort isn't translating into ease, that progress should feel smoother by now. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. So let me ask you something simple. How many subscriptions are you paying for right now? Not how many you remember instantly, how many you are actually paying for. Most people think they know. They name a few obvious ones: streaming, music, cloud storage. Then they pause. Because once you slow down and really think about it, more start coming to mind. Apps you signed up for months ago, a free trial that quietly converted, a service that felt useful at the time. And none of them feel expensive on their own. That's why they slip past your attention. Subscriptions don't feel like spending. They feel like background noise. They sit in the background of your finances, quietly repeating every month. Your brain doesn't treat them as decisions. It treats them as constants, like rent, like electricity, like something that just exists. Once a cost feels normal, your brain stops questioning it. Not because it's affordable, but because it's familiar. And that familiarity is dangerous. Because money you stop noticing is money you stop controlling. Here's what most people don't realize. Subscriptions change how your brain evaluates money. A one-time purchase creates friction. You pause, you hesitate, you feel the trade-off. That moment matters. A subscription removes that moment completely. Once it's set up, your brain files it away as already handled. And when something feels handled, attention disappears. You're still paying, but you're no longer choosing. There's no moment each month where you consciously decide to keep paying. The decision already happened, often months or years ago, and your brain treats it as settled. This is payment blindness. Money is leaving your account, but it doesn't register emotionally. You don't feel the cost because you never feel the decision. That's why subscriptions scale so quietly. They don't feel like losses, they feel like nothing. And money that feels like nothing is very easy to lose control of. Now let's walk through a normal month. Payday hits, your salary comes in. Before you touch anything, subscriptions start deducting. Streaming, music, apps. You don't see them happen. They quietly reduce the number at the top. Then rent goes out, utilities, insurance. By the time you actually check your balance, it already feels lower than expected. And because those deductions were automatic, your brain doesn't connect them to choice. You don't think, I decided to give this up. You think, this is what I have to work with. So later in the month, when money feels tight, you blame prices, you blame timing, you blame bad luck. Not the quiet commitments you stopped paying attention to months or years ago. Now add time. Let's say you have 8 subscriptions. The average cost is about $15. That's $120 a month. On its own, that number feels manageable. It doesn't trigger concern. It doesn't feel irresponsible. But stretch the timeline. Over 1 year, that's $1,400. Over 5 years, that's $7,000. Over 10 years, that's $14,000. And that assumes nothing changes. But most people don't stay still. They add one more service and another. Each one feels harmless because each one is small. Subscriptions feel like control. They feel organized, predictable, safe. You know exactly what's leaving your account, so it feels manageable. But that feeling is an illusion. Subscriptions don't reduce stress, they postpone it. They push financial pressure into the future, where it's harder to see and easier to ignore. There's another cost most people never connect to subscriptions: opportunity. Money tied up in small monthly commitments can't do anything else. It can't build a buffer. It can't reduce stress. It can't create options. $200 a month doesn't feel powerful, but over time it becomes leverage. That same money could build an emergency cushion. It could reduce debt faster. It could be invested quietly, not aggressively, not perfectly, just consistently. Subscriptions block that path, not because they're large, but because they're permanent. Once something becomes permanent, it stops being questioned. And anything that stops being questioned starts quietly shaping your future. This is why subscriptions hit the middle so hard. Not people who are struggling, not people who are wealthy, people who are doing fine. They earn enough, they work hard, they make reasonable choices. Yet money always feels slightly constrained. Not painful, just limiting. Nothing is broken, nothing feels reckless, but progress feels slower than it should be. Subscriptions don't cause crisis, they cause drag. They quietly absorb margin. That margin that creates breathing room. That margin that turns income into freedom. When that margin disappears, nothing feels wrong. Life just feels tighter. And over time, that tightness becomes normal, until you stop asking where the money is really going. So, what's the fix? Not canceling everything, not extreme budgeting, not guilt, awareness. List every subscription you're paying for, every one. Seeing them together changes how they feel. Then ask one simple question for each. If this didn't exist today, would I actively sign up for again? If the answer is no, cancel it. Not later, not next month, now. For the ones you keep, force redecision. Set reminders. Reevaluate intentionally. Because money you don't actively decide on will always decide against you. Control doesn't come from restriction, it comes from clarity. And when your money is decided consciously, it finally starts working with you instead of quietly against you.